中文翻译员。
嗯，那我们怎么那我们怎么进行语言切换呢？还是说我们要听中文的时候，是你说中文是吗？
我说中文，你可以翻译中到英文。
嗯，但你这边可以调节吗？我这边好像看不到了，它只有
你可以看那个屏幕，还没开始了，现在布置一下，现在查一下整个情况，然后呢，开幕的以后你们可以看这个屏幕。
看屏幕。嗯，
你能不能看见整个会场吗？
可以可以啊。
可以看见，当然了，没
嗯
问题啊。你可以翻译中到英文，
嗯
还是
所以，哎，请问不好意思，所以待会儿我们的领导
बाबुल switch करिए इस
就
पे
直
कोडिंग वाला
接
लैपटॉप
说中文，然
कोडिंग
后
वाला
您就把它翻译成英文，
对，
对吧？
你们说中文，我们翻译成英文，没问题。
好的，那如果那反过来，我们要听会
ये
议
वाला
的
ये
其
ये
他的
कोडिंग
嘉宾说话，
PPT वाला
那我们这边
PPT वाला
您会
PPT
把它
वाला
翻译成中文，对吧？
是，
我们就
我们
自己在
互相
这个
会说大一点，声音应该大一点。
好，然后我们现在就在这个 Zoom 上选择是听中文，
OK，
我这边可以看到选择。
你能不能发一下你的翻译或者解释一下，可以吗？
嗯，我的意思是说，就是您把英文翻译成中文的时候，我们是在 Zoom 上选择中文，对不对？
对，OK。
啊，
但是你看那个参会者人员，按照道理来说，他们都没有这个权限。如果翻译他们有这个权限的话，右边会标注他们是翻译者，所以我都不清楚他们到底是怎么来实现的。
哦，
我觉得这个中文频道现在是不是应该测试一下？比如说场上有人现在说英文的话，按理说我们现在点进这个中文频道，应该听的是实时的中文。就这个好像一直没测试。
对，哎，关老师刚好也跟您说一下，我感觉印度那边他们的很有可能就是说我们听不到现场的原声，就是他们两个同传，相当于是他们两个各自说话。如果轮到中文翻译的时候，直接相当于他就说出来了，相当于我们这个上面就没有中英文的切换这个功能了。
哦，哎，那就是说，那就是说到时候我还是给他点中文频道，然后他用中文发言，然后现场有一个翻译，实时的给他翻译成英文，对吧？
是的，是的，
如果是
这样子。
喂，我会翻译成英文还是中文？
喂，你们听得见吗？是这样子的，就是这个他们谈这个题目的时候呢，
我听不见了。
喂，哎，你好，哎，现在我看到你们已经有这个权限了，你们已经是翻译者了，因为那你们那你们就可以在 Zoom 上进行切换嘛，你们就比如说轮到谁翻译中文的时候，那你就换到中文轨道，谁翻译英文就换到英文轨道。相当于我们 Zoom 就直接听你们说话了，是吧？
没有声音了。
好好好，可以可以，谢谢，因为不然会有杂音。嗯，好好好，嗯
可以。
嗯，或者思想，你看他们现在右边就有那个 interpreter 这个
嗯，
功能了，对，相当于他们要进行手动切换，那我不知道他们会不会。
我看到了，我看到了，应该可以了。
嗯。喂，
Good morning. May I have your kind attention?
在的，可以听见。
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. May I request everybody to kindly settle down? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Requesting everybody to kindly
可
settle
以
down
的，
as
我这
soon
边
as
可以的，
possible.
不知道我的同事那边可以吗？
Ladies and gentlemen, once again requesting everybody to
行
kindly
行，那你
be
们注意
settled.
切换，我们就一直会待
May I
在中文
request
轨
for
道。
all mobile phones to be kept on to silent mode from onwards, please. Thank you.
我们这边是需要切换的吗？
我们是一直待在中文频道嘛？行行行，那我们知道了。OK，嗯 OK，那个，哎，关老师，咱们这边要不要在那个您的音频是没问题了，然后要不要测试一下那个视频什么的？
那个视频稍等一下，我看一眼他那个机子在不在。我刚给他测试了一下，应该是没问题。我一会儿再打开给他试一下吧。然后我想问一下，我看那个这个也没有要求那个全场静音，那到时候就是比如说到他发言，他自己打开话筒 开始说就可以，是吧？
对对对。然后我们那个中英文轨道，我们就选择中文的轨道就可以了。
好的好的。哎，那他前面那3个发言人是已经确认了都会就是发言的是吗？
对，哎，咱们那个赵主任他是已经去吃饭了吗？还是等着？
对，他去吃饭，所以我要等他回来才能用他的电脑试一下。
可以，那正好，因为我担心他们可能12点半1时半
Ladies
还
and
开不了，
gentlemen, once
所以
again
反正
requesting
就
everybody to be
对，让那
settled.
赵主任
We
先
are
去我
ready to
这。
go ahead with the
好的，
proceedings
行，那一会儿他
of
回来，我再给
today's
他试一
event.
下他那个视频就可以，因为刚刚没开始的时候，我给他试了一下视频跟音频，应该没关系。我想给他看看这个中文的这个传译这块能不能过来。
好的。刚刚
May
我
I
们当时
request
听了，
for
因
the
为
exit doors to be closed?
应该是
Thank
没
you.
问题。
Everybody to be seated. Namaskar and good morning, everyone. On behalf of ICLEI South Asia and the National Institute of Urban Affairs, in partnership with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, welcome you to the Urban Shift Asia Forum 2023 Financing Climate Action in Cities. This forum is being organized under the aegis of GEF 7 Sustainable Cities Program, led by the United Nations Environment Program, ICLEI South Asia, NIUA, the Asian Development Bank, World Resources Institute, WRI, C40 Cities, UNDP, and the World Bank Group are implementing partners of the program. As cities across Asia face a range of challenges, from rapid urbanization to climate-related challenges, collaborative solutions are essential. This forum provides an opportunity for city and regional leaders to exchange insights about these challenges and identify replicable solutions and explore opportunities for support from UrbanShift around knowledge enhancement, capacity building, financial assistance, and engagement with the private sector. It is indeed our pleasure to welcome delegates from India, Indonesia, China, Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Jordan. Ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful for your time and look forward to enriching conversations and insightful dialogues on advancing sustainable, integrated urban planning and development. We start today's agenda with a panel discussion on opportunities and challenges related to urbanization in the Asian region. We have the pleasure of hearing from the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs, Government of India, and dignitaries from the partner organizations, followed by the launch of city academies and related online courses. A city business hub and a high-level investors roundtable conclude the day. And before we start, I would take you through some quick housekeeping announcements. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, a humble request to all the participants present here to kindly keep their phones on mute or aeroplane mode. The technical sessions are designed for active conversations with the chair and the panelist. You may kindly write your questions during the sessions on a piece of paper and share it with our volunteers who would be present around the hall. This is an accessible and an inclusive event. We have Ms. Manisha Sharma and Mr. Atul Kumar with us for the sign language translation of the discussions for the entire session. For them to be able to interpret, we request all the participants to speak at a steady pace. Thank you. The virtual platform has an expected delay of 10 seconds, so some attendees, depending on the internet connection, may experience some delay in receiving the audio and the video. I request the participants joining online to kindly post their queries and questions during the Q&A session on Zoom. Please note that this event is being recorded and is also broadcast live on UrbanShift's YouTube channel. We encourage you to pen down your thoughts and share your comments or suggestions by dropping them in the suggestion bowl kept at the registration desk. In case you're posting about the event at the social media, don't forget to use the hashtag #UrbanShiftForum. And ladies and gentlemen, I now have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Imani Kumar, Deputy Secretary General ICLEI and Executive Director, ICLEI South Asia, to welcome all our guests and lead the first technical session. Let's put our hands together to welcome him.
Good morning and thank you, ma'am, for inviting me. I'm just saying good morning to all of you. No, the voice is not coming clearly. I think still sleeping, most of you. Can I say good morning again? Very good morning to all of you. And thank you for joining this session. Before I go into my opening remarks and asking our esteemed guests to speak on various topics, may I invite the speakers in this session, Dr. Kunal Kemner, IAS, Additional Municipal Commissioner, Pune Municipal Corporation, India. May I ask you to come on the stage, sir? Can I ask to welcome him? May I now invite Ms. Karri Venkata Satyavati, Additional Commissioner Projects, Vijayawada Municipal Corporation, India. Ma'am, please join us. We have one online participant, Mr. Kun Zhao, is the Deputy General Director, China Center for Urban Development, CCUDU. I hope he is online and joined us the session. Unfortunately, we can't give a bouquet to him, but maybe we will try to send it to him on by post. May I also invite Mr. Togu Santoso, is the Director, Local Government, Ministry of National Development and Planning, BAPENAS. Please join us onto the stage. Sir, please. So it's a great honor for me and a privilege to welcome you to the UrbanShift Asia Forum 2023, Financing Climate Action in Cities. On behalf of ICLEI Local Governments for Sustainability, I extend a warm and hearty welcome to each one of you. The UrbanShift Forum is being organized under the aegis of UrbanShift program supported by the Global Environmental Facility, the GEF, in its 7th round of global funding and led by UNEP globally. This program is part of the, which was launched in the Climate Week in New York in 2021, which is supporting 23 cities and 9 countries. You will have more information on that maybe when in the next session when our GEF colleagues will join us. UrbanShift focuses on both infrastructure and nature-based solutions for urban sustainability, engages with city-based organizations and private sector, and integrates gender and inclusion into the planning and investment decision-making in cities. The UrbanShift Global Platform, the program to build and strengthen the institutional capacity in participating cities. And this forum is organized by the Global Platform led by ICLEI Local Governments for Sustainability and also the National Institute of Urban Affairs. I'm happy to see the director here in the audience, along with our partners, including the United Nations Environment Program, the Asian Development Bank, the World Resources Institute, C40 Cities, United Nations Development Program, and the World Bank. In India, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is steering the UrbanShift program. This 4-day program will encompass multiple events, activities focusing on the knowledge sharing and capacity building on climate action, financing, and private sector engagement. Over the next 4 days, we will delve into the pressing urban issues, share insights, and explore innovative solutions that can drive positive change. We are honored to host an array of experts here. We have more than 200 odd participants from 9 countries. So I'm happy that all of you are here. We have thought leaders, policymakers, and practitioners who will lead these discussions on various topics on the sustainable transport, green infrastructure, innovative financing, and all. We also have, as I'm happy to say here, that we have participants from Indonesia, from China, from Malaysia, Vietnam, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Jordan, and also India. So experts from across the globe, along with key stakeholders, are here to discuss the issues pertaining to the sustainable urban development in Asia. We also have financial institutions and representatives from private sector who are joined here. I just want to welcome them also to exchange the knowledge and the financing sustainable solutions for complex urban development and challenges. Once again, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to this UrbanShift Asia Forum 2023. This is our first session. This is a technical session 1. We will have a formal inaugural session later when the Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs will join us. But in this session, we are talking about more opportunities and challenges related to the urbanization in the Asian region. So without wasting any time, I request Dr. Kunal Kemnar, as I said, that he is the Indian Administrative Services Officer, as additional municipal commissioner from Pune Municipal Corporation, India, to give his views on how to address this urbanization, how to address the challenges, because he's the correct person. He's working in the Pune Municipal Corporation for the last 3 years. He must have faced a lot of challenges. So I invite him to come and give his thoughts here. Please, sir, the floor is yours.
A very good morning to all of you. It's very pleasure to be here amongst all dignitaries from all the representatives of cities all over the world. Pune is also, just like you, a proud member of UrbanShift Forum, a proud member of ICLEI also, C40 cities. And we also believe that it has been a long time now that a city-led development is taking place for a better planet and for betterment of people. I am from Pune. I'm joined by my team. Our CAFO ma'am, Chief Financial Officer, is also there, Mrs. Kalaskar. Our head of the department, Mr. Madhav Jagtap, our consultants, Pooja, Nikhil. So we are looking forward to have a very fruitful conversation with all of you over a period of next 3 to 4 days. Mainly related to climate financing, but also share our best practices, whatever knowledge we have learned and we can learn from you. Just to give a snapshot, Pune is one of the largest urban agglomeration in India and Asia. Just to give a idea about the size, Pune has area of 520 square kilometer and a population of 6.5 million. So it's a mini country in itself. And Pune has always been at the forefront of many climate initiatives. We are committed to net zero, committed to carbon neutrality. And we have taken many initiatives which are pioneering, or Pune is the lighthouse in many of the environment project, which I can proudly say. Pune is also called Oxford of the East because of its education institutions. It is education hub. It is also industry hub. Pune and Mumbai region in western zone of India, they are economic growth engines of the country. Pune is very ancient city. It is cultural capital of the Maharashtra. It has vast heritage. It has been consistently ranked most livable city. It is amongst the top cleanest cities in India. So I would like to welcome all of you to visit Pune for any of the urban development related issues or projects you would like to see. Urbanization in Pune has grown very rapidly in the past. Now, as you know, by the population itself, due to many factors like population growth in itself, then constant expansion of the city limits, rural to urban immigration, and economic development which are happening in the city. And naturally, like any other city would face, Pune has also faced many challenges because of this. Like sir also said that I have been working in the corporation for a long time now. So it is the most challenging phase of my career, but it is also the most satisfying one, because we are working at cutting edge level, and whatever projects we take, it directly impacts livelihood or quality of life of the people, and that to a vast number of people. But this population growth or urbanization has put a lot of challenges. It has put strain on infrastructure like traffic congestion, overloading of public transport, then difficulty in providing basic services to all equal basis, environmental degradation like air pollution, water pollution, loss of green cover, biodiversity, then inadequate housing, and ultimately it gives rise to development of slums, income inequality. Though it provides employment also, the compared to rural area, there is stark disparities in the access to services in the city. Then traffic congestion, many missing links in the road network, and then many social issues arising out of it. So our job is to mitigate these challenges and harness the opportunities. Coincidentally or fortunately, the same challenges can be converted into opportunities. So in very brief, I would like to say that what projects we are undertaking to convert these same challenges into opportunities. For better infrastructure, we are taking many infrastructure project, and given the size of the city, the cost of the project is very huge. So we just cannot depend on government funding or our own funding. Though we are in a very good financial shape, Pune is considered as A-grade municipal corporation, and we have a sound financial system. Despite that, we have to explore alternative financing as well. We are expecting that in this conference also we will learn about many alternatives for climate financing, but a few alternative financing options which we are already exploring are municipal bonds. Pune was the first city in country which issued municipal bonds for its water project. Then we are also issuing credit notes to developers for taking up infrastructure project. So without paying them upfront in terms of cash, we are just issuing them credit note which they can reimburse for their various payments related to municipal services. Then we give them TDR, which is total development right, or FSI, increased FSI, in lieu of which they can do their construction, and in return they can give us they can construct amenities, public amenities, without any investment from corporation side. Then similarly to develop amenities, we have something called accommodation reservation, and many of the projects we are taking on PPP mode also. So many of our huge high capital cost projects like waste to energy, or some of the flyovers or riverfront development project, they are all on PPP basis. We have taken Pune is one of the greenest city despite all the density of the population or the urbanization. but still our general body went ahead and reserved more than 750 hectares of area as biodiversity park. So it is an ecologically sensitive area where there is restricted development is allowed on the hills of the Pune. Pune has many hills. The Pune city is surrounded by hills. So we have this diversity park reservation in our development plan, through which we are able to conserve our hills, we are able to conserve our green belts, and similarly urban forests. We have invested more than 250 crores of Indian rupees in Air Action Plan, which is funded by 15th Finance Commission, and 80% of this fund has been allotted or dedicated for electric mobility. So to create EV ecosystem in the city, to create public transport based on electric charging, we are to convert shared transport also on electric fuel or cleaner fuel. We have taken up many initiatives in this Air Action Plan. Then Pune city has 44-kilometer length of river flowing throughout the city. So it was need that city has turned its back towards the river, and river was almost turned into a sewage system. So there was high need to rejuvenate this river, make people sensitize about the river, and improve their accessibility towards the river. So we have taken up an ambitious plan of this 44-kilometer river rejuvenation project, out of which already 11-kilometer stretch work is already, it has already started and work is going on. Then Pune generates 2,200 metric tons of solid waste each day. So we had to take up biomining for past years legacy waste. We could reclaim more than 20 acres of land, precious land, out of that biomining. And as of now, I'm proud to say that we are not dumping even a single kilogram of waste on the ground, and we are processing each and every waste from door-to-door collection. Then to provide housing, affordable and quality housing to all, we have taken help of many central and state government schemes like Prime Minister Awas Yojana, basic services to urban poor, and there is a slum rehabilitation authority also. So we have to tweak policies in such a way that for developers also it becomes attractive to develop housing for poor, and we have to keep prices and locations such that the mobility or connectivity for the poor is not affected. So in situ development of those houses is also explored to meet or to reduce income inequality. It is important that we improve their access to basic services, and most important are health and education. So Pune Corporation is one of the few corporation who has its own medical college. So not only primary, but we also provide secondary and tertiary medical care at affordable rates to all our citizens. We have also done few projects on PPP basis in healthcare. And we have some unique schemes, our own corporation's own schemes from our own fund, where we provide insurance to all our citizens who are not covered under any other insurance like Prime Minister Jana Arogya Yojana or State Jana Arogya Yojana. So up to 1 lakh rupees, up to 1 million Indian rupees, we give them annual insurance for their family. And for education also, we are taking up many e-learning or digital learning activities in our schools. Pune is proudly known for its wide network of NGOs, academias, industries, many government institutions. So we have a good nexus among all these institutions, and quite a vibrant communication is constantly going on. As a result, we have many platforms through which these different communities constantly come together, and they constantly have a dialogue, and it helps us plan better for the future. So what I expect from UrbanShift is that this forum and this constant guidance will help us in planning and development, and we will be able to share our knowledges and best practices, learn from you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the practical information, what is happening in your city and how you are handling that. I'm happy to know that you're doing a lot of activities in Pune, and which maybe if any of you have requests, if you have any questions, Mr. Kemner is available during the break. I think we can, and all his team members are available, so you can have more discussion with him. And I'm happy to say this, Pune is one of the best cities in India who is handling a lot of urban issues on that. Now I have the privilege to invite the Additional Commissioner Projects from Vijayawada Municipal Corporation, Ms. Satyavati. Ma'am, the floor is yours. Just 1 minute. I need to make another. Yes. I'm sorry, just one announcement for all our international participants. We have translation available. There are translation gadgets on the right side of your site, on the right side of the hall. We have English, Mandarin, and Bhasha. So these are the 3 languages. Translation is available. So if whoever needs, maybe please raise your hands. My colleagues are there. They can bring those gadgets to you so that you can use the translation facility which we have provided here. So please use that. As I said, that we have English, Mandarin, and Bhasa also. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. I'm from Vijayawada. This is the good platform to share the knowledge across the Asiatic countries and within the India. I'm from Vijayawada. Vijayawada is one of the most populated and density, which is a densible city in India. I would like to share the experiences which are facing what challenges in urbanization. I'm agree all the things which are Kunal sir said. We are also facing these things also. Vijayawada, across Vijayawada, we are 3 major canals is there and 2 mountains are there, and 8 kilometers river bank is there, Krishna. We are facing the challenges due to urban agglomeration. Many of the people come outside for their livelihood and settles these river and canal banks use it too. But we are evacuated all the people who are located in these areas and provided housing for all in the central government schemes and various state government schemes. Now we are planned these canals also beautify and to maintain the greenery and sustain the development also. And our major Krishna River is used to, we are we are converting the river bank into the beautiful location and plan for the riverfront plaza, which provides the upliftment of the poor people, nearby people, and give some employment also is there. And we are reclaimed the major dump site, 44 acres of the city dump site, and renovated as sustainable development park. And we are going to inaugural this site, and we are maintaining the integrated solid waste management system also there. We are always doing, we are whatever the challenges in the city we are facing, we are turning this into the opportunities to the development of the cities and the people also. I'm not taking very much time because the time being, I'm here with you. Whatever the views you want to share with me, I will be there. Thank you for supporting us, you and the various organization, UNIDO and ICLI, whatever they are doing very good job whatever the forms are doing, and they are sharing their knowledge, which are very helpful to us in the development of our city. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing this your experience in handling the waste and the rivers. As said that ma'am is also available. If you have any questions, you can ask her during the break. We also have now Mr. Kun Zhao. He's Deputy General Director from China Center for Urban Development, CCUD. He joined us online. I hope he's listening to us. May I invite him to give his views, what's happening in China?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
OK。女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家上午好。我是中国城市和小城镇改革发展中心副主任赵坤。首先，非常感谢主办方怡可城邀请参加转型都市论坛亚洲圆桌会议，与大家交流研讨绿色城镇化和城市可持续发展问题。中国城市和小城镇改革发展中心是专注城镇化、城市发展和规划领域的专业化高端智库，为政府相关政策文件制定提供研究支撑，也为中国的城市和小城镇发展提供政策咨询和规划编制服务。
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Is it clear? Sorry, what's the problem?
It's not working. It's not going to.
我们长期致力于好的。
Sir, you have to mute your other mics or whoever is speaking on the other side.
2022年10月
Whoever is translating, can you please tell him?
全球环境基金第7期绿色与碳中和城市项目，重点推进中国可持续城市平台建设，促进和加强中国城市和世界各国城市之间的学习和交流。中国对绿色低碳发展是高度重视的。2020年9月22日，中国国家主席习近平在第75届联合国大会一般性辩论上表示
We can bring him back again.
中国将提高国家自主贡献力度，采取更加有力的政策和措施。
Please mute. Sorry for this. I hope the translation is you can listen to English or no? No. Okay. So we will try to bring him up again. Just can you talk to our Chinese colleagues? In the meanwhile, without wasting the time, may I request Mr. Togo Santoso, the Director for Local Development, Ministry of National Development and Planning, Bappenas from Indonesia. Can you share your thoughts, sir, please?
What's the problem?
Good morning, Suprabat. all panelists and moderator, Mr. Emani Kumar, Dr. Kunai, Miss Kari, Mr. Qiangli from China, and all participants from China and India and Indonesia. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor for me to gather here and have a chance to meet colleagues from several countries, as well as many experts who are really concerned on sustainable development. This will serve as an excellent opportunity to not only discuss about our challenge, but also to prepare prospective collaboration in development. Through this opportunity, please allow me to share opportunity and challenge that Indonesia currently facing due to urbanization and And since there are 3 interpreters here, we should appreciate their work to help us to understand what I'm saying. So please allow me to deliver in Indonesia. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, seperti kita tahu bersama, urbanisasi berdampak pada peningkatan penduduk perkotaan dan ukuran kota. Menurut UNDSA, 2/3 penduduk dunia akan tinggal di kawasan perkotaan pada tahun 2050. 90% pertambahan tersebut berada di negara emerging economies. In Asia, in 4 decades, penduduk perkotaan meningkat 1.7 times. Peningkatan jumlah penduduk berbanding lurus dengan peningkatan ukuran kota. Menurut United Nations, tahun 2020 terdapat 23 megacity. Jumlah ini meningkat sejak tahun 70, di mana saat itu dunia hanya punya 2 megacity. Hadirin yang saya hormati, in the context of Indonesia, beberapa hal terkait permasalahan urbanisasi dapat saya sampaikan sebagai berikut. Pertama, sumber pertumbuhan urbanisasi terdiri dari migrasi desa ke kota, pertumbuhan penduduk alami, dan reklasifikasi desa menjadi kota. Menurut World Bank, 1 dekade terakhir, reklasifikasi desa menjadi kota adalah sumber utama pertumbuhan urbanisasi di Indonesia. Penduduk perkotaan tersebut berada di Pulau Jawa. Dengan luas hanya 7% dari total Indonesia, Pulau Jawa menjadi tempat tinggal bagi 56,1% populasi Indonesia, atau sekitar 151 juta jiwa. Pertumbuhan urbanisasi semakin cepat, ternyata belum dapat berkontribusi bagi pertumbuhan GDP. Perencanaan kota perlu mengantisipasi perubahan komposisi demografi dan mayoritas penduduk berusia muda menjadi penduduk berusia tua. Penduduk usia tua 2045 mencapai 52 juta jiwa. Pertumbuhan kota menengah dan kecil lebih cepat dari kota besar. Perkembangan ini membentuk formasi urban belts, menciptakan mega urban region di Indonesia. Alih fungsi pertanian menjadi kawasan perkotaan mengancam ketersediaan pangan di masa depan. Perkembangan kota secara umum perlu diatur dengan baik supaya tidak terjadi urban sprawl. Ladies and gentlemen, di samping permasalahan yang ada tadi, tantangan yang dibawa oleh urbanisasi juga menciptakan peluang bagi inisiatif pembangunan kota berkelanjutan. Sektor swasta memampukan perkotaan beradaptasi lebih cepat menggunakan inovasi dan ketangkasan melalui beberapa model bisnis sebagai berikut. So this is the opportunity on urbanization. Ada pelayanan publik inovatif. Second, ada layanan perkotaan digital. Ada revitalisasi dalam aset publik. Yang keempat, ada potensi ekonomi sirkular. Kelima, ada pengaturan biaya untuk distribusi beban puncak or peak load distribution. And city advisory, pembelajaran praktik baik antar kota, baik dalam luar negeri, yang saat ini kita bertemu adalah dalam rangka saling belajar praktik baik antar kota. Ladies and gentlemen, dalam mengatasi permasalahan urbanisasi di Indonesia, pemerintah Indonesia mengembangkan kebijakan regulasi perkotaan. Pertama, kita punya kebijakan perkotaan nasional. Kemudian kebijakan ini mengacu kepada New Urban Agenda dan Sustainable Development Goals. Ada 5 misi utama pembangunan perkotaan di Indonesia. Yang pertama, mewujudkan sistem perkotaan nasional yang seimbang, mensejahterakan dan berkeadilan. Mendorong perkotaan yang layak huni, inklusif dan berbudaya. Yang ketiga, mendorong perkotaan yang maju dan mensejahterakan. Yang keempat, mendorong perkotaan yang hijau dan tangguh. Yang kelima, mewujudkan tata kelola perkotaan yang transparan, akuntabel, cerdas, dan terpadu. Okay, the next slide. Actually, I have 8 slides. So moderator say I have to only 8 minutes. I'm afraid one slide only 1 minute. Okay, the 6th slide. Okay, this is just about the SJIP, our program in Indonesia. And sebagaimana kami singgung sebelumnya, masalah urbanisasi di Indonesia terkait dengan degradasi lingkungan hidup dan rendahnya kapasitas dalam menghadapi perubahan iklim. Oleh sebab itu, kebijakan yang digariskan dalam rencana pembangunan jangka panjang nasional diharapkan memperkuat pengambilan kebijakan pembangunan yang mengarus utamakan pertimbangan lingkungan dan perubahan iklim dalam pembangunan perkotaan. Untuk memenuhi tujuan inilah, maka Indonesia Sustainable Cities Impact Program dilaksanakan dengan dukungan GEF and World Bank, khususnya dalam pengarusutamaan pertimbangan lingkungan dan perubahan iklim dalam perencanaan dan pembangunan kota. Ladies and gentlemen, ada 5 lokasi pilot project di Indonesia untuk kegiatan ini, yang saat ini hadir all the head of the planning agency from our 5 municipality. Ada nih dari Balikpapan, dari Palembang, dari Bitung, Semarang. Nah, this is we have 28 delegation and from 5 municipalities and also from the National Development Planning. Okay, and the last slide. Oh, this is the detail of our project Indonesia, and maybe during this forum we can discuss more, because I think in Indonesian model we need to still improve during this project implementation. Okay, and then the last one. Saat ini pemerintah Indonesia sudah melakukan komitmen terhadap pembangunan berketahanan iklim. Indonesia punya peraturan Presiden nomor 18 tahun 2020 tentang rencana pembangunan jangka menengah nasional 2022-2024, di mana pembangunan berketahanan iklim adalah salah satu 7 prioritas nasional pembangunan. Selain itu, kita sedang menyusun regulasi we said the climate resilience development policy 2020-2045, and this year in January Indonesia mengeluarkan instruksi Presiden nomor 1 tahun 2023 yang memberikan instruksi kepada seluruh kementerian lembaga di Indonesia untuk menyusun program perencanaan pembangunan yang berketahanan iklim. Demikian kiranya peluang dan tantangan dan inisiatif dari pemerintah Indonesia dalam mewujudkan pembangunan kota berkelanjutan. Sekali lagi, kami mengucapkan terima kasih atas undangan UrbanShift Global Platform dan pemerintah India, khususnya India National Institute of Urban Affairs, kami berharap banyak pembelajaran baru yang kami dapat dari para peserta, dari Cina, dari India, maupun seluruh expert yang hadir, untuk peningkatan kualitas pembangunan kota di Indonesia dan juga dunia. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the information. As again said that all our delegation are here for the whole day today. If you have any questions to them, they are happy to answer your points. We have the Chinese translator is here. Maybe if he can come here and translate. Is that can be done?
Hello, Mr. Kumar. Can you hear me? This is Jim from ECLEARS. I just wanted to check the video with you first. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can quickly. Okay. Yeah, please. Okay, so we can hear the English version from the translator directly, and then he will speak. The Chinese participants will speak. Can we have it quickly?
Okay, should we start? This is G speaking, just to check in whether you can hear me.
Okay, may I invite Mr. G to start the English translation so that we can hear?
Just checking.
Mr. G?
Yes, can you hear me? Translators ready?
Will this work?
So, Mr. Kumar, can you hear my voice? Hello. Hello, this is G speaking again. Can you hear my voice?
Oh, hi. So, dear ladies and gentlemen and friends, so good morning, everyone. So, I am Chokun, Deputy Director of China Urban and Small Reform and Development Center. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer, ICLEI, for inviting me to participate in the Transforming Cities Forum Asia roundtable. We will discuss green urbanization and sustainable urban development issues with you. The National Center for Urban and Small Town Reform and Development is professional, high-end think tank focusing on the field of urbanization, urban development and planning. So it not only provides services for central and national development and reform, but also provide research support for the formulation of relevant policy documents of the Revolutionary Committee. At the same time, it also provides policy consultation and planning preparation services for the urban construction of cities and small town for the entire city. The center has long time committed to international cooperation in the field of urban environmental protection. In October 2022, our center participated in the implementation of the seventh phase of Global Environment Facility, Green Carbon Neutral City, focusing on promoting China sustainable development, continue to build urban platform to promote and strengthen the connectivity across China. So at the same time, it also provides policy consultation and planning preparation services for the urban construction of cities and small towns across the city. The center has long been committed to international cooperation in the field of urban environmental protection. In October 2022, our center participated in implementation of 7th phase, and on September 22, 2022, President Xi Jinping stated at the general debate of 75th United Nations General Assembly that China will increase its nationality determined contribution, adopt more powerful policies and measures, and strive to achieve the peak of carbon dioxide emission in 2023, strive to reach the peak in 2060. So, and we try to do our best to neutralize and to be neutral in carbon emission. In 2021, my country issued the opinion of comprehensively accuracy and comprehensively implementation, the new developing concept, and doing a good job in carbon picking from the documentations, So again, we have formed the 1+N policy, system for carbon peak and carbon neutrality. In the future, we will optimize the energy construction, promote industry and industrial upgrading, promote energy saving and low carbon building and infrastructure, build a green and low carbon transport system, develop a circular economy to improve resource utilization efficiency, promote green and low carbon technology innovation, expand financial support and accelerate transformation and innovation in areas such as developing green investment and financing and implementing nature-based solutions to increase carbon sinks. At the urban practice level, since 2010, China has launched 18 low carbon city pilot projects in 3 batches. So the pilot cities focus on preparing low carbon development plans, formulating low carbon industry development policies, establishing greenhouse gas emission data statistics and management systems. So many things are doing on that front. So again, in that context, the implementation of 7th phase of global environmental facility, green carbon neutralization, green carbon neutral city project will also focus on the dual carbon goals and carry out research, support capacity building and exchange activity in areas related to urban green and low carbon development. Relying on China's sustainable development continuously, performing best and trying to, do better on that front. So we simultaneously we are enhancing our sustainable development, urban sustainable development capacities under the project. 3 projects, 3 cities already, it's already been launched. That is in Chongqing, Chengdu, and Ningbo. Will serve as a pilot to introduce green, high quality development indicators and ecosystem based methods into urban planning. So this is from our end. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Sorry for the technical glitch actually with the translation, but the text has been shared with them, and our translator has translated that to English, and he has given that speech for us. We will try our best to rework on that maybe for the next session. When we tested it in the morning, it worked well, but unfortunately during this time on that. So as we are no, but now we have, yeah. So we apologize for our Chinese speaker. Very sorry, sir. I hope you are hearing what I'm saying from here. But we will try to connect you maybe from the next session onwards after solving the technical issues here and there. Thank you, sir, and very sorry again from my side. Now I'll hand it over to MC.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Mani Kumar, for leading this first scintillating discussion of the forum. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to thank all our eminent speakers here. As I request Mr. Kumar to kindly do the honors of presenting a token of gratitude mementos to our speakers, we present to Dr. Kunal Khemnar, Additional Municipal Commissioner, Pune Municipal Corporation, India, to Ms. Karivenkata Satyavati, Additional Commissioner Project, Vijayawada Municipal Corporation, and to Mr. Togu Santoso Pardede, Director, Local Development, Ministry of National Development Planning. May I request all our eminent speakers to kindly come forward for a group photograph. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, as you ponder over the deliberations, we invite you to a refreshing cup of tea and coffee, which is being served outside in the lobby area. And we will meet again for the high-level session at 11 o'clock. We will be joined for the session by the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, at 11:15 a.m. sharp. We would request you all to be kindly seated at least 10 minutes before that. So please enjoy your cup of tea and coffee and be back in time. If in case you're getting delayed, we would request you to kindly carry your cups back to the table so that we are all set by the Honorable Minister joins us. Thank you.
Hello, check, check. Hello, hello. Hello, check, 1, 2. Hello, check, check, check. Hello, hello, hello. Check, 1, 2. Hello, check, check. Hello, check, 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 check. Hello, check, 1, 2. Hello, check.
哎，翻译老师你好，我感觉现场听不到我们那个 Zoom 的声音，哎，是不是哪里没有调制好？
Hello, check 1D. Hello, hello, check. Hello, check. Once again.
Yeah, yeah. Napkin.
Argenta.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your kind attention? We have just been informed the Honorable Minister is caught up in some important meeting, will be delayed by 10 to 15 minutes in joining us. Meanwhile, we request you to be seated, be comfortable, enjoy your cup of tea and coffee. We will be informing you as soon as we get some news on the Honorable Minister, as and when he will be joining us. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to inform each one of you, the Honorable Minister is caught up in another important assignment, will be delayed in joining us by about 10 to 15 minutes. Meanwhile, we request you all to be seated, enjoy your cup of tea and coffee, and we'll be getting back to you on the information as and when the Honorable Minister would be joining us. Thank you. Can I have a mic testing? Mic testing, check. May I request those seated at the back, if you could hear me clearly, kindly raise your hand. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to inform all of you, we are expecting the Honorable Minister to be here with us in another 10 minutes from now. Once again, requesting everyone to be seated. All mobile phones kept onto silent mode from now onwards, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we are expecting the Honorable Minister to be here with us in another 10 minutes from now. We would request everyone to be seated. All mobile phones either switched off or kept onto silent mode from now onwards, please. Thank you. Why is the recording getting played? Ladies and gentlemen, once again requesting everyone to kindly take their seats. We are expecting the Honorable Minister to be here with us any moment now.
Same sequences there are. Depending on this, I will tell you.
Because now he's late, so
Yeah,
he will not
it's
have
late.
that much time.
But my
Any
welcome
case,
address-
I think so after your welcome address, I think we should either release it
Yeah.
and the minister qualification releases करके
Release करके and we just go to class.
हाँ then minister को बुला दे.
Yeah, depending, I will let you know. If he says he has still time, 12:30 बजे तक करेगा तो दो.
ठीक है.
दो. बात
So
करेगा.
video also should we do the video or we
Yeah,
can
video also.
we'll do.
Video also. Because that is the
So,
only
the
thing.
minister comes qualification,
Yeah.
your welcome address,
Yeah.
video launch releases,
Yeah.
and then we'll decide.
And then that I will let you know.
बोलना चाहिए ऐसे तो कोई भरोसा नहीं जाओ.
There is no chair.
Ladies and gentlemen, kindly be seated. The Honorable Minister is here. Would be joining us any moment now. Requesting everybody to be seated, please. And ladies and gentlemen, I announce the arrival of our honorable chief guest. Let's put our hands together to welcome Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, the Honorable Minister, Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. I invite you, sir, to kindly grace the stage with your esteemed presence. Inviting you, sir, to kindly grace the stage. I would also like to invite Mr. Ashok Kumar Bihanju, Honorable Mayor, Tulikhel, Nepal. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I would like to invite on stage Mr. Togu Santoso Perdede, Director, Local Development, Ministry of National Development Planning, Indonesia. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Ms. Sandali Malavarachi, City Planner, Colombo Municipal Corporation, Sri Lanka. A very warm welcome to you. Inviting Mr. Atul Bagai, Country Head, United Nations Environment, India. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Mr. Alok Banwal, Senior Climate Change Specialist and Coordinator, Sustainable Cities Global Environment Facility. Warm welcome to you, sir. Inviting Mr. Sanjay Joshi, Principal Urban Development Specialist, Asian Development Bank. Warm welcome. I invite Mr. Madhav Pai, Chief Executive Officer, WRI India. Warm welcome, sir. And Ms. Andrea Fernandez, Managing Director, Climate Finance, Knowledge and Partnerships, C40 Cities. Also inviting Mr. Imami Mani Kumar and Mr. Hitesh Vadya. Namaskar and good morning. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Minister, Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. Eminent dignitaries on the days, special invitees, senior officials from the Government of India and various national governments represented by the different departments, along with the cities from Indonesia, China, India, Vietnam, Malaysia, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Distinguished participants from international organizations, including the think tanks, NGOs and CSOs, financial institutions, and the private sector, respected members of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the inaugural session of the UrbanShift Asia Forum 2023, Transforming Cities for People and Planet, on the theme Financing Climate Actions in Cities, which is being co-hosted by ICLEI, the Local Governments for Sustainability, and National Institute of Urban Affairs, and supported by Global Environment Facility, GEF, and UN Environment Program, in partnership with World Resources Institute, WRI, C40 Cities, UNDP, World Bank Group, and Asian Development Bank, ADB. Ladies and gentlemen, UrbanShift is a unique initiative working to transform cities for people and planet through sustainable, integrated, zero-carbon urban development. And ladies and gentlemen, today at this high-level inaugural session, we are honored to have amongst us the august presence of Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, the Honorable Minister, Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. The Honorable Minister is a former diplomat and author. He was inducted into the Council of Ministers at the Minister of State Independent Charge for Housing and Urban Affairs in September 2017. He was given additional charge of Minister of State with independent charge for civil aviation and the Minister of State for Commerce and Industry in May 2019. He was sworn in as the Union Minister in July 2021, and currently he is the Honorable Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs and Petroleum and Natural Gas, a 1974 batch Indian Foreign Service officer He served as the permanent representative of India to the United Nations in Geneva and New York, and served additionally in Tokyo and Colombo. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request Mr. Ashok Byanju, the Honorable Mayor of Dhulikhel, Nepal, to kindly do the honors of felicitating the Honorable Minister by presenting him with the shawl. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for sparing your valuable time and gracing this occasion. I would like to invite Mrs. Hansa Patel, Chairperson, ICLEI South Asia, to kindly do the honors of presenting a small token of gratitude to the Honorable Minister. Thank you, ma'am, for doing the honors. And ladies and gentlemen, as is customary, we begin every auspicious occasion by lighting the ceremonial lamp, invoking the gods and goddesses, seeking their blessings for guidance and success for our endeavors. I would now request our Honorable Chief Guest and our dignitaries on the dais to kindly do the honors of lighting the ceremonial lamp and formally inaugurating the UrbanShift Asia Forum 2023. For the benefit of our international delegation present here with us today, the diya when lit emits light and derives energy. It is this very light source that sustains us. Each wick being lit and passed from one to another symbolizes the sharing of knowledge. And on that note, let's once again put our hands together on the ceremonial inauguration of UrbanShift Asia Forum 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank all our dignitaries for doing the honors of formally inaugurating UrbanShift Asia Forum 2023 by lighting the ceremonial lamp. May I request our dignitaries to kindly take their seats? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, ICLEI, the Local Governments for Sustainability, is a global network of more than 2,500 local and regional governments committed to sustainable urban development. Active in 125 plus countries, we influence sustainability policy and drive local action for low emission, nature-based, equitable, resilient, and circular development. And Mr. Imani Kumar works with all the offices in Asia to ensure cohesion in the implementation of ICLE's agendas and spearhead advocacy activities in the region. Mr. Imani has a background in environmental management and planning and more than 20 years of experience in climate change policy and planning, local governance, renewable energy, systems management, and auditing. And may I now invite you, sir, to kindly begin the proceedings with your welcome address.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon already, I think. No, it's good morning. So good morning again to all the esteemed guests, distinguished speakers, delegates, partners, and friends. It's a great honor to welcome our chief guest today for this forum, Sri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Honorable Minister for Housing and Urban Affairs, and also Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. A hearty welcome to all our international participants and also other dignitaries on the stage. We have assembled here after the successful completion of G20 Leaders Summit and the Delhi Declaration that was adopted unanimously under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. In fact, people are saying this is the first event, sir, where other G20 countries are also joined after the G20 Leaders Summit. We also have honored that under the leadership of Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, successfully steered convening of a U20 Urban 20 Mayoral Summit with more than 150 cities endorsing the communique which has been released. Under the visionary leadership of the minister, Honorable Minister, the concept of the climate smart cities is also fostered and mainstreamed into the urban India. Resource efficiency, climate resilience, sustainable and equitable urban development are given utmost priority. Programs such as the Climate Smart Cities Assessment Framework, the Urban Outcomes Framework, Nurturing Neighborhoods, and all other programs under the leadership of Mr. Puri ji has given a lot of advantage to the cities. The vision of the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, encapsulated in the Panchamit is the guiding force for a sustainable, resilient urban India. Asia is home to some of the world's most dynamic and rapidly growing cities. While this presents immense opportunities to all the cities, it also poses a lot of challenges, from rapid urbanization to climate change, from social disparities to infrastructure development. Urbanization is a global mega trend, and how we navigate this transition will impact the lives of the billions. Under the Global Environment Facility, GEF, this particular program, UrbanShift program, which is supporting 23 cities from 9 countries, including 3 primary cities from India, that is Chennai, Pune, and Surat, and 2 secondary cities, that is Puducherry and Agra, in participating in the GEF 7 financing round. The UrbanShift program brings together global, national, and local stakeholders and engages with city-based organizations and the private sector to work towards common sustainability vision. So throughout on the ground projects in India, China, Indonesia, and other 6 countries globally, the program is collaborating with city officials, urban practitioners to implement innovative urban solutions that facilitate the shift towards sustainable low carbon development. These are also called the national child projects, which have been implemented here. Sir, in this program implemented by the UNEP and also the Asian Development Bank in partnership with the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, National Institute of Urban Affairs, NIUA. The UrbanShift global platform, the global capacity building initiative of the program, has created a knowledge and learning platform that connects the 23 cities globally, which bringing international expertise in the cutting edge research in the field of sustainable urban planning, providing opportunities to share experiences, forge partnerships, and secure financing for the local projects through virtual and in-person workshops and forums like this. ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability, coordinates this urban capacity building project globally in Asia and in Indonesia, China, and India, all these countries. This forum is a convergence of minds, ideas, and experiences that hold the potential to shape the future of urban development across the Asia and also in the world. We have gathered here as agents of change, united by our shared commitment to transform our cities into vibrant, sustainable, and resilient urban centers. I'm pleased to inform this August gathering, that is in the Urban Asia Forum 2023, is being attended by more than 200 participants from 9 countries. And we also have 60 senior representatives from 9 national governments across the Asia Pacific region. That includes Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Philippines, Jordan, China, and India. As we embark onto this 4-day journey of sharing experience, expertise, and fostering cross-learnings, it is essential to recognize the significance of our collective efforts. I would like to once again thank you, sir, Honorable Minister Saab, for gracing this occasion with your kind presence. We all look forward to your inaugural letters, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for your kind words of welcome and for the introduction of the forum. Ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to present before you a short video presentation to showcase the UrbanShift project. Can we have the volume on the video presentation, please? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to request Honorable Chief Guest and dignitaries on the dais to kindly do the honors of launching the document Variations in Transit-Oriented Development Geographies, which has been prepared by UrbanShift Country Project Team at NIUA. And let's put our hands together for the release of the document. I request you, sir, to kindly do the honors of also releasing the Compendium of Good Practices on Sustainable Urban Freight Initiatives from around the world. And let's again put our hands together for the release of the document. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is the apex authority of the Government of India at the national level to formulate policies, sponsor and support the program. And today on this occasion, we have the honor of the august presence of the Honorable Minister, Housing and Urban Affairs, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji. And ladies and gentlemen, I have the proud privilege in inviting the Honorable Minister to guide and motivate us with his inaugural address. Let's put our hands together to welcome the Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Friends on the dais, Mr. Togu Pardade, my friend Mr. Atul Bagai, Mr. Alok Barnawal, Mr. Imani Kumar, Hitesh Vaidyaji, Mr. Madhav Pai, Ms. Andrea Fernandez, and political leaders, mayors and dignitaries who have joined us virtually from China, Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Nepal, Philippines, Jordan, and Sri Lanka, apart from India. I welcome you all to the Asia Forum 2023. The first forum of the UrbanShift Global Program, which is funded by the Global Environment Facility. And I'm deeply honored to be invited to deliver the special address in this opening plenary. As I was collecting my thoughts before coming here this morning, I was struck by the fact that the UrbanShift program has been conceived in consonance with the two most important global agendas of our time, Agenda 2030 or the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Agreement. And I think there can be no more laudable objective than the attempt to bring back the equilibrium between nature, the built environment, and the built environment by undoing the actions of humanity in the Anthropocene, which have brought us to the brink of an ecological crisis. I'm not even sure if we would rightly use the word brink. I think we are in a crisis. And the terminology with which I grew up and of which I was a part of when I was representing my country at the United Nations in Geneva and New York, you know, that period had its cynics. They were called climate skeptics. I'm looking around for them these days. I think they are hiding. Anyone who talks about a crisis realizes that that terminology also does not fully capture the gravity of what we are facing. Today, it's not global warming, but you know, if you see pictures of raging fires in Europe, in countries like Greece, Argentina, the United States, Canada, you're talking about global boiling. And I think the time has come for all well-meaning people involved with public policy to ensure not only that the recommendations that are made are sound and scientifically sustainable, but also that we carry all those who are most affected and make sure that we transition to a better phase on this. We have to arrest it, and then we have to drastically reduce the adverse effects. Interestingly, just before I came here today, I had the privilege of introducing two buses for urban transport, which are going to run on green hydrogen. And when I was doing that, I also told my young friends who were gathered there that I'm very proud of the fact that as housing minister, the urban transport falls as part of the ministry, and our metro system now carries 10 million passengers in a day. That's a ridership for a day. Now, the policy always is to move people around, not move cars around. So if you have better public transport, obviously you are going to be on the right path to reducing toxicity and all that goes with it. Coming back to the subject of our discussion and this very important meeting, the projects that UrbanShift has taken up in India have laid special emphasis on restoring our water bodies, building resilience of our coastal zones. And I think these are critical actions for reducing GHG emissions, preventing land degradation, and preserving biodiversity. Recent events in cities such as incessant rainfall, flooding, and heat waves have made discussions on the conflict between construction-led urban planning and climate resilience even more urgent. We have been so focused on increasing the built footprint of our cities that perhaps we have not paid enough attention to preserving our natural ecosystem. This has led to relocation of people, loss of life, damage to property, and risk of epidemics. In a country like India, which has a large population, and where, despite the very best efforts of the government, and I'll come to that in a minute, sometimes one is racing against time. And I'm very happy, therefore, that the global community and our own experts are now really on the right track. In India, the West used to describe the Indian experience as that of reluctant urbanizers, but perhaps they had not fully comprehended the scale of our urban challenges. Today, if you go by the last census we are looking at something like 30% of our population being urban, but it is going to go up slowly to 40%. And we are looking at population scales of something like 600 million people living in urban spaces. And India has undertaken one of the most comprehensive and ambitious programs of urban rejuvenation attempted anywhere in the world. You see evidence of that in Indian cities, and there is more which will come. We have a situation where McKinsey described India, this was a few years ago, I don't know what the statistics are today, that we are building something like 700 to 900 million square meters of urban space every year, the equivalent of a Chicago. And therefore, putting in green technology, climate sensitivity is central to that. Our Prime Minister, fully conscious of that, declared one full year as a year for global green technology assessment. So we invited players from all over the world to come to India and display their green technologies. We shortlisted 53 of those technology, and we have 6 lighthouse projects where 1,000 urban dwellings are being built over a period of 1 year. And some of these, I wish you had the time, I could arrange for some of you to go and see those lighthouse projects. Coming back to UrbanShift, I'm sure that it has the potential to catalyze the transformational change we desire and inspire similar replication across the global south. A reference was made by one of the earlier speakers to the fact that we hosted the G20 meeting. I think it was an entirely new experience in the hosting of G20, because the Honorable Prime Minister decided to take the G20 experience, which normally witnesses important meeting taking place in the capital of the country concerned, or a few other select countries, but building on the work done by the previous presidencies. This time we had something like 200 plus meetings in 60 different Indian cities. Now that kind of interaction and you taking it to the people also benefits the kind of issues we are discussing, because there is a sharing of experiences, there is a localization experience which we can give to our visitors. And I'm very happy that the G20 and its declaration, which in some ways encapsulates not just the Indian experience, but the global work done. For instance, a reference was made to the Urban 20 meeting in Ahmedabad, which I had the privilege of addressing. And I think many of the Indian experiences are relevant because as a member of the developing countries group, our experience lends itself more easily sometime for replication and scaling up in the countries of the South, where issues like local sensitivities, costs, etc., have been developed in a pure developing country context. And I think some of the work that has been done here, whether it is digital, physical inclusion, or in terms of climate, etc., I'm very happy that, in fact, the agreement, the declaration had something on that. I'll come to that in a minute. Under GEF's 7th financing cycle, the UrbanShift program has adopted a cross-sectoral approach to reducing emissions while fostering sustainable and equitable growth. This is seen, as I said, in innovative projects. It is piloting in 3 vital and growing cities in India, Chennai, Pune, and Surat, which will be replicated in Agra and Puducherry and scaled up further across the system. Last year, India was in the top 5 best performing countries on climate change, according to the Climate Change Performance Index. Cities are going to be central in achieving various global goals. Sustainable urbanization is, of course, integral for global resilience. 2/3 of the world's population will live in cities by 2050. Cities in Asia will witness the biggest urbanization. As a global community, if we need to get global development right, it is imperative that we get urban development right. Our urbanization programs under our G20 presidency, we anchored the discourse on sustainable urbanization. Our journey of urbanization is a success story that has become a blueprint for other countries to learn from, particularly, as I said, for the global South, where the conditions that obtain in our cities are, no two situations are identical, and they can never be because of the genius of the people, but there is a broad resonance in those conditions. I have lived as a diplomat for many years of my life in other countries, in different cities, in East Asia, in Europe, in Latin America, in the United States. And I can tell you with confidence that we have very different conditions everywhere. But the broad experiences in the global South, I think, have a certain resonance and a certain learning experience which flows from that. Let me just spend a minute or two on our programs. Affordable housing has been one of the most important programs. We have built under the urban area something like 12 million houses, homes have been sanctioned. More than 11.3 million have been grounded, and nearly 7.7 million have been delivered to the beneficiaries. These are essentially meant for those who comprise what could be described as the economically weaker section, or those who live below the poverty line. Under the Swachh Bharat mission, which is one of the world's largest, perhaps the world's largest sanitation program, urban behavioral shift towards cleanliness, we have built 7.36 million individual and community toilets in India's cities and the towns which have become now open defecation free. Solid waste management in 2014, when the Prime Minister assumed responsibility, was only 17%. And since these solid waste processing figures are based on data supplied by our states, I always think that states sometimes slightly exaggerate what they are processing. But I always take that figure at 17%, and it has gone up now to 75% in the 9 years. And I'm confident that with the programs we have in place and the investments that we've made, I have no doubt we'll reach 100% solid waste processing, which in a very short period of time. We are now moving to make our cities garbage free. 326 garbage dump sites have been remediated, and 42.6 million tons of waste has been reduced. Under one of our schemes, Amrut, we have now provided 14 million water tap connections and 13.5 million sewer connections in 500 cities, which constitute 60% of our population. In a successor 2.0 version of that scheme, which aims to make our cities water secure, we expand the coverage to all statutory towns in India, and we will provide 100% coverage of water supply through 26.8 million tap connections and 100% coverage of sewage in 500 cities through 26.4 million sewer connections. Tomorrow, I'll be going to Indore, where the President of India is presiding over a function to give awards to those who have contributed to the creation of smart cities. We have 100 smart cities. These most of them are based on area-based development on traditional cities, where a certain area has been delineated in order to smartify them. But there are also some which are greenfield projects. We have 6,069 projects worth over $13 billion, which have been completed, embedded a culture of innovation and excellence. I can tell you, friends, that when we had to face the pandemic, and this was in a once in a lifetime experience because I was ambassador to the UN in Geneva and New York when we had to deal with SARS, Ebola, H1N1. But this was more akin to the virus which we had to face in 1918, the Spanish flu. And our smart cities command and control centers, we have 100, now all 100 are complete. At that time, we didn't have full 100, few short. They acted like war rooms. With the help of the latest technology, we could identify areas where then help was needed and was provided on a real-time basis. As I mentioned, urban transport, in the context of things, we now have the 5th largest metro network in the world with 871 kilometers of metro lines laid and another 906 kilometers of metro network undergoing construction. When this is completed in the next year or so, India will have the world's 2nd largest metro system, ahead of Japan, ahead of Korea, ahead of the United States, or second only to China, because I think this US has about 1,500 or 1,600 kilometers, but the US is already at saturation point. I don't see them building more metros, but ours will cross that 1,500 mark, I think within a year or so. We are already at 871, and we have another 906, which is in different 906 kilometers in different stages of completion. India has led the discourse on encouraging environmentally responsible behavior and accelerating climate finance at the recently concluded Urban 20. The topic of climate finance was extensively debated by mayors and delegates, and I'm very happy to inform you that for the first time, climate finance found a notable mention in the G20 declaration. So the point I wish to make is that work that is done by eminent experts like yourselves always feeds back into the Indian public policy discourse. And those of us who participate in international meetings, we make it a point to ensure that this language goes in. For cities in the global south, it is critical that we localize our climate agendas. No discussion on urban planning can be removed from fiscal health. Cities depend heavily on central grants to meet basic financial needs. This needs to change. We need to complement traditional revenues with innovative instruments and more diverse access to finance. I hope this forum disseminates best practices for the acceleration of climate finance. I can tell you that our own experience, we have in fact floated municipal bonds, and I don't have the figures ready, but I think we've already got something like 4,000 crores raised municipal bonds by at least, I think, 15 or so cities. As I said, I don't have the figures readily available. One suggestion I hope this forum will consider is the need to prioritize the outcomes of our work over adherence to norms. To that effect, I'm hopeful that the knowledge creation and dissemination that is being undertaken by the National Institute of Urban Affairs, UNEP, ICLEI, and other project partners will be a guiding light. In conclusion, we must view this moment as the beginning of new partnerships, collective thinking, and collaborative actions to propel the global urban agenda forward. I'm confident that the discussions held at this Asia Forum will serve as a valuable resource for local urban governments in the global south. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for inspiring words and guidance. And we are mindful of the Honorable Minister's busy schedule, and we acknowledge that he would now like to take leave. Sir, please accept our sincere gratitude. We have taken your guidance seriously, and over the next 4 days, we'll deliberate and discuss with the goal of accelerating sustainable climate resilient development in our cities. And I would request all our dignitaries to kindly remain seated on the stage. Also, those seated in the front are kindly requested to remain seated as the Honorable Minister departs. We will like to continue with the proceedings of the inaugural session. Ladies and gentlemen, let's once again put our hands together to thank the Honorable Minister for sparing his valuable time, gracing this occasion, and all those words of inspiration and guidance. Thank you once again, sir. Would request everyone else to kindly remain seated as we carry forward the proceedings of this session, the high-level session. Ladies and gentlemen, the UNEP is an international environmental authority engaged in establishing a global environmental agenda and promoting the efficient implementation of the environmental dimension of the United Nations Sustainable Development Programme. And today we are privileged to have with us Mr. Atul Bagai, Country Head, United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, India Office. Shri Bagai has decisively led from the front at UNEP to fulfill its mandate across climate change, chemicals, waste and air quality, environment governance, resource efficiency, environment under review, healthy and productive ecosystems, and resilience to disasters and conflicts. And may I now invite you, sir, for the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Bagai.
Thank you and good morning, distinguished guests on the dais, all the participants here. I've been given 5 minutes and I'll try to restrict myself to 5 minutes because we're already late for the main sessions that have to start after the inaugural. I would just also like to request the organizers that if we are looking really at an urban shift, we should not overlook the voice of the women. That is something that is so very critical to any change we need in our society. And we can start by getting more women on the panel here. We only have 2 here, and I think we should try to see that we have more women on the panels. And I think that's one change we should look at UrbanShift. We will all be talking, and you're all experts on urbanization and the challenges that come with urbanization and the environmental damage that we are doing to the cities. But I'll try to focus my small intervention and short intervention to solutions, because I think we often tend to understand the problem, but what can we do to address or mitigate that aspect is something which is very, very critical. And I have 4 or 5 solutions from what is already being done in India and in many other countries. So solutions are there. I think we need to see what will suit under the UrbanShift program, the cities that have been chosen in these 9 countries, and how can we scale that up, because that's the big challenge. One of the big solutions I think we should be looking at UrbanShift through this program is to leverage and scale up nature-based solutions to build climate resilience. And I think that's a very important solution that we should really be centralizing in our program. And we have very good examples within India, in Chennai or in Bangalore. And we can certainly look at those, how we can scale them up. Improving resource efficiency and waste management through circular economy is a very good second solution I would like to put on the table. And I think if through this program we can address this, that will be a very useful thing. Ambikapur is a very good example of how resource efficiency is being addressed through a circular economy model. In fact, I moved to India 5 years back and settled in Noida. And within our own sector where we stay, where we have 1,400 houses, we were able to, through waste management, through circular economy and resource efficiency, reduce our waste going to the landfill from 100% to 15% in the last 3 years. It was huge. And I think these kind of models are models that should be really scaled up at a pan-India level and in all the countries. Promoting sustainable and affordable housing is certainly an aspect that needs to be looked through this program. Pondicherry
and Tamil Nadu are two very good examples where this aspect is really being innovated with and invented. Making use of new technologies to create smart and resilient cities is something that needs no more emphasis. In the morning, I was looking at a newspaper where I saw how Trivandrum Municipal Corporation is using robotics and artificial intelligence for waste management. There are so many solutions that our technology is bringing up. Can we scale them up through this program? And the biggest asset that India has is what the minister was talking about, this smart cities, the 100 smart cities or the 120 smart cities, where there is a platform for scaling up all these innovations at a 120 city level. Because no amount of funding from JEF or from multilateral agencies or any other organization can scale up the amount of problem mitigation that is needed for a country like India. And the government can do that scaling up through a variety of schemes that the Honorable Minister was talking about. The Minister talked about municipal bonds, and that is, I think finance is going to be a major solution for all our problems. And if we can have all municipal corporations looking at municipal bonds, I think that's one good way of raising finance. Also, as a suggestion to UrbanShift partners, there's too much happening in India through various other organizations. UNEP is working on a cooling project with STC, which will be launched very soon. How can that be integrated with UrbanShift program? There are certain other JEF projects that are ongoing on various cities in India. How can those be brought on this platform? And I think if we can synergize all these efforts, that will be a very good approach. Thanks a lot for inviting UNEP, and we are really looking forward to some very good discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite Mr. Alok Banwal, Senior Climate Change Specialist and Coordinator Sustainable Cities Global Environment Facility, GEF, for his kind address. Let's put our hands together to welcome.
Distinguished panelists, all the participants, very good morning. We had a very inspiring speech from the minister. So I will try to add value. Of course, nothing can add that much of value. It's an honor for me today to be part of this session. And this is very significant at the time when cities are growing, and particularly in this region where there is so much happening. How we can be more catalytic, and this is something that the objective of this mission of this forum is. And I'm glad to see that there are representatives from so many countries here, and this is not just limited to the cities of the UrbanShift program, but it is also it has gone beyond that. So this is really a pleasure. And as the coordinator of the cities program, the UrbanShift, of this under the Sustainable Cities Impact Program of the JEF, it's a privilege for me to represent the JEF today, and also to work with incredible partners who are here in the panel among you, and all the cities and national governments. The JEF, as you may know, is the financing mechanism for multilateral environmental conventions, and is a family of funds dedicated to confronting biodiversity loss, climate change, pollution, and strains on land and ocean health. These environmental challenges have increasingly intertwined with social and economic challenges. And therefore, it is essential that we adopt systems-based and integrated approaches which can enable addressing multiple priorities in a more synergistic manner to deliver large-scale benefits. Inspired by this, in the JEF 6 phase in 2015, we launched integrated approach pilots. We then scaled it up in JEF 7, And then in Jeff 8 phase, where we are now, we have now 11 integrated programs covering 11 different natural and economic systems. One system that was common throughout was the urban system, the cities, and rightly so. As one of the key drivers of environmental degradation and nature loss, as also one of the systems which is highly vulnerable to these to climate change and nature loss, cities are the place where we need transformation. And this transformation can happen because cities also present immense opportunities to tackle these challenges. They account for 60 to 70% greenhouse gas emissions, providing strong background space to achieve the emission gaps or to fulfill the emission gaps that we are seeing based on some of the reports that we have recently seen based on NDC pledges. Cities are also now sprawling to protected areas. There was a very recent study that said that there are now more than 400 cities which are close to very globally important biodiversities. And if we don't act now, they will encroach on those areas, affecting global biodiversity and the health of our planet. As investment centers, cities can provide the economies of scale to reduce the cost, the unit cost of clean technology solutions. That is one of the key barriers that we are addressing at this point of time. Cities also has the people power to adopt sustainable behaviors and influence right policies. The opportunities are limitless. I can go on and on. And this is particularly important, in the context of Asia region. The rapid urban growth, strong baseline of local climate leadership. We heard a lot of examples today from Honorable Minister, from the Additional Commissioner of Pune, how much incredible work they are doing. And a strong entrepreneurship environment in Asian cities make them perfect ground to find technological and financial breakthroughs to some of the severe environmental challenges. Asia is an urban powerhouse and has strong level of readiness to shape global sustainable urban transformation. To make this happen, cities definitely need catalytic climate finance, which was very clear in the G20 New Delhi's leader declaration and also in the U20 communique. At the JEF, we are doing our part on this. Cities are central to meeting our global climate, global goals on climate, nature, and other areas that we work on. We have already provided more than $300 million in grants and leveraged $4 billion in co-financing. UrbanShift is the Jeff 7 phase of our program. We started with Jeff 6 as a pilot. With Jeff 6 and Jeff 7, we are now working in 50 cities with 60% in Asia. Our global platform is facilitating cross-learning between cities and creating rich and useful knowledge. I'm glad to share today that in our current Jeff 8 phase, we are expanding the program further with most likely additional 50 cities, with cities in Asia with additional more than $160 million in grants. The Asia Forum is happening just after a historic G20 summit. I congratulate NIUA, the Urban Ministry, and the cities engaged for featuring cities so prominently in the summit and its declarations. I would like to thank all the participants from cities, countries, and all the experts who are here. I hope this forum will inspire you all to be more ambitious and committed to climate and nature action. We will, as Jeff, we will look forward to your guidance, innovative and disruptive ideas, and market signals that can channel more funding to cities. I would like to close by saying that cities are central to achieving climate resilient, net zero, nature positive, and inclusive world. And at the Jeff, we remain committed to catalyze necessary action for this at city level and at country level. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir, for sharing your insightful thoughts with all of us. And may I now invite Mr. Sanjay Joshi Principal Urban Development Specialist, SGWUD Asian Development Bank, for his kind address. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Sanjay Joshi with a warm round of applause, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, distinguished panel and participants. It is my pleasure to speak in this Urban Shift Asia Forum. As Asian Development Bank, we operate in Asia and Pacific region, which is fast urbanizing, which includes most populated and densest cities in the world. And the region has also fragile urban areas, small islands in the Pacific. As Imani mentioned in the beginning, this urbanization has driven economic growth, but at the same time, it has created several challenges. Like number one, rapid and often haphazard urbanization is aggravating already deficient urban infrastructure and services, as most cities lack basic and inclusive urban services. Number two, climate change is exacerbating this as disproportionately affects the poor and vulnerable groups, especially the residents in informal settlements and low-income communities in densely populated and low-lying areas. The Asia-Pacific region is most disaster affected in the world. Moreover, the cities generate about 75% of greenhouse gases today, and it is essential for cities development to be much more low carbon and towards net zero. Number three, on environmental stress and degradation. Lack of effective urban planning and excessive use of natural resources exacerbate the environmental degradation. Deterioration of air and water quality and plastic pollution are critical transboundary issues. Social dimensions, the cities regions are undergoing unprecedented demographic change. The population aged 60 and above are rapidly increasing. At the same time, several countries have huge young population, which are needing well-paying jobs. And last and least is governments and weak institutional capacity, overlapping legal and regulatory frameworks, and lack of coordination among various agencies result in poor urban services and lack of financial sustainability caused by low collection of user charges and low source of own revenues. With a growing demand for sustainable urban infrastructure and services, mobilization of finance, including private capital, is essential, as already explained by earlier speaker. Private sector investment in cities is often challenged by absence of creditworthiness of city governments due to low revenue collections, as well as inefficient expenditure management, opaque credit structures, and poor cost recovery mechanisms such as tariffs and user charges. So ADB has highlighted importance of developing capacities of the cities as one of the lead partners, knowledge partners to the G20 infrastructure working group under Indian presidency. With the technical support of ICLE, ADB has led the preparation of framework on capacity building for urban administration for financing cities of tomorrow, which are inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. And this was prepared in close coordination with G20 members, development partners, and also city network organizations. This report highlights city government need to enhance capacity in three key functional areas. Number one, on strengthening urban policies and integrated urban planning process to benefit from urban agglomeration, ensures efficient spatial and transport, economic, environmental, and social outcomes. At the same time, addressing climate change and disaster resilient infrastructure. Number two is on planning process should develop a pipeline of bankable infrastructure projects to help and mobilize financing, including private capital. And last is on urban governance for sustainable service delivery, enhancing own sources of revenue and affordable user charges to enhance creditworthiness of the cities. Cities have ample scopes to increase its own source of revenue. For example, average property tax collection in major developing member countries of ADB is just 0.2 to 0.3% of GDP. When we compare it with OECD countries, it is about 1.1%. So multilateral development bank like ADB play a key role in supporting cities in promoting regulatory and institutional environment for reforms, bankable project preparation, financing investments, and capacity building. ADB is strengthening its support to the cities in a holistic way
to improve urban infrastructure while supporting enabling environment, capacity development, and financial sustainability. With these few words, I once again thank the organizers for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite Mr. Madhav Pai, Chief Executive Officer, WRI India, for his address. Let's put our hands together to welcome Mr. Pai.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, distinguished colleagues, delegates, partners, friends. Warm welcome to all of you. And it's an honor to be sharing some of my thoughts. One of the biggest challenges in rapidly growing cities in the global south is a lack of resources, right? I mean, whether it's just not finances, right? It's capacity, it's expertise, it's time, and we can't do everything all at once. So the big challenge towards all of us is choosing. How do we choose these few things that we'll do and do well, so that they really drive that sort of transformative change that we all want? So I think in a way, this idea of these strategic projects or that has emerged of how we can choose a few things and use them as vehicles to drive integrated urban planning, bring the elements of nature in, is the ambition of what the UrbanShift platform is trying to do. And I think it's really great. I think that is the capacity we really want cities to build, right? How do you use strategic spatial planning to choose a few strategic projects? And then we have to see how we can make these projects actually have that transformative effect, right? India is going to invest, minister talked about the almost the 1,600 kilometers of metro we are building. We're going to spend $50 billion on building this metro over the next, between in the sort of 20-30 years. How today only 15% of the jobs in, say, a Bangalore, Hyderabad, or Delhi are located within 500 meters of these metro stations. Now the challenge is, now that we have spent this money on these projects, how can we actually work with the private sector? How can we work with the real estate industry? How can we work with the corporates to see whether we can structure some innovating financing so all the future jobs locate next to the metro station? I think once the jobs come too close to the metro station, not the housing, it's the jobs that need to come next to the metro station. That's when we will actually achieve sort of these ideas of low carbon, resilient, economically strong projects. Same thing. I mean, we're going to get more density close to the metro stations. How can we make it resource efficient? Can we bring these people without, increasing water consumption? So how do we bring resource efficiency? That's the point. That's a strategic project where you've put the money to build that project and you bring all of these other elements to increase the efficiency, of the financing, increase the efficiency of the infrastructure input. The other sort of big challenge that cities are facing is of today of climate resilience, flooding, heat. Heat is emerging as a big challenge in all our cities. How can we look at all the water bodies, right? Rivers, lakes. Can we see them as the vehicle for us, to drive basically resilience in the cities, make these spaces inclusive, even look for opportunities where small livelihoods can be created through ecosystem services. Again, so these sort of all of these natural sort of water and green spaces have the ability to become these sort of transformative integrated projects. And there are great examples from all around the world. Last example, and Imani also talked about the Nurturing Neighborhoods project. We've been also quite actively involved in it. There the idea is to see, how can we look at public health investments, right? Whether, in Anganwadis, which are places for young children, daycare facilities, hospitals, all public health centers. Can we look at trying to make the spaces or any public spaces, the urban commons, more inclusive, more accessible, so that young children, elderly can use these spaces, not just to access services, but also spaces where they can actually enjoy the city, and the city becomes more livable. So the whole idea again, and I think this is excellent. I think that the platform that the UrbanShift platform has created, the idea of integrated urban planning, the idea of bringing these ideas of low carbon resilient development within the existing investments that we are making. And I think if we can sort of strongly bring this lens of strategic projects, I think we would really be able to do that. So with that, wishing all of you great 2 days of sessions. I would like to thank UrbanShift, our colleagues at ICLEI World Secretariat and ICLEI South Asia for organizing this important collaboration with MOHU and NIUA. And also would like to thank all of the UrbanShift partners for really creating this amazing, unique platform where you can really exchange on these ideas, where you've done new things, innovative things that others can learn very quickly and implement in their cities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, gracing this occasion today is Ms. Andrea Fernandez, Managing Director of Climate Finance, Knowledge and Partnerships, C40 Cities. May I now invite you, ma'am, to kindly share with the August House how C40 is committed to being an equitable, diverse, and inclusive organization. Over to you. And let's put our hands together once again to welcome ma'am.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm very excited that this forum is focused on finance for climate action in cities, and it's taking place after 3 pivotal moments that we've just experienced in the last month. First is the release of the Global Stocktake Report, which tells us we are very behind in delivering the greenhouse gas emission reductions that need to be made to avert climate catastrophe. Second, we heard about the G20 summit, which provided a lot of recognition on climate finance, but also on the need to support cities. And third is the UN Climate Action Summit in New York City last week, where we saw progress made by some countries, some big funding announcements, but we also saw some backtracking, unfortunately, by some national governments. What stood out for me in all of this space is the transformation that we are seeing in cities and the incredible climate leadership that we're seeing by city leaders. The efforts cities are making to set ambitious targets, to implement transformative climate policies and projects, and the incredible work that mayors and city leaders, commissioners are making to help make that case for why cities are your best investment in climate action. We heard from Alok about the important role that cities can play, so I won't talk about that, but I think the fact remains that finance is a huge barrier still. The finance gap is into the trillions. There are lots of different estimates about this, but it's important to understand it's a barrier both on the demand side with cities in terms of their lack of capacity in understanding how to prepare bankable projects, and what we heard from the speaker from ADB, the fiscal health of cities, the lack of credit worthiness that makes it very difficult to access finance. But it's also an issue on the supply side with the banks who need to become more innovative in how they work with cities, how they finance urban projects, and how they help cities and unlock more private capital. We are making some good progress, though. Last week, there's a fantastic announcement by Germany and Luxembourg to contribute an additional 50 million euros to the City Climate Finance Gap Fund. We've heard about MDBs, including the speaker today, talk about providing more targeted support to cities. And we've heard then from the Urban SDG Finance Commission, which is a new effort led by Jeffrey Sachs, Mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, and Mayor of Rio, Eduardo Paredes, who are helping to tackle this issue, to bring the voice of cities to the international stage, but also to look at how can we create more innovative finance solutions to tackle these issues. And finally, it's always fantastic, the support from the GEF, which since 2015 has made cities a key priority. And hearing about the 50 more cities and the increased funding through GEF 8 is really fantastic. The economic and social benefits of investing in cities are clear: job creation, improved public health, poverty reduction, enhanced resilience, improved productivity. We all know this, and yet there still needs to be a great effort made to really put investment in cities at the forefront. So if you are from national government, from a multilateral development bank, from a development finance institution, from philanthropy, from private sector or private finance, I encourage you to look at how you can do your part to help improve and scale up access to finance for cities. I just want to explain the two sessions that will happen this afternoon in carrying this topic forward. So we've got two exciting parallel sessions that C40 has organized for this afternoon. One is the City Business Hub, which will provide a platform for businesses and cities to exchange knowledge and perspective and identify how they can collaborate to accelerate climate action. And we know cities can't do it alone. They need the business sector there alongside with them. And the second session that we're holding in parallel is an investors roundtable on decarbonizing mobility, looking at both e-buses and e-freight. During this session, cities and investors will discuss the barriers and bottlenecks to deploying finance and discuss tools that can be used to accelerate the adoption of e-buses and e-freight in our cities. And it's fantastic to run these two sessions here in India, which has demonstrated so much innovation from the private sector and so much progress in e-mobility. I'd like to conclude by thanking the Jeff for, again, putting such an emphasis on cities for so long and for making this gathering possible. And we're very grateful to the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs and the National Institute of Urban Affairs for your support and cooperation on this forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, ma'am. And I take this opportunity to once again thank all our eminent speakers for sharing their vision and commitments with us. I would now request Mr. Imani Kumar to kindly do the honors of felicitating and conveying our gratitude to all our eminent speakers by presenting them with a memento. We present to Mr. Ashok Kumar Bianju, the Honorable Mayor, Dhulikhel, Nepal. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for being here with us. We present to Mr. Togu Santoso Perdede, Director, Local Development, Ministry of National Development Planning, Indonesia. Thank you, sir. To Ms. Sandali Malawarachi, City Planner, Colombo Municipal Corporation, Sri Lanka. We present to Mr. Alok Banwal, Senior Climate Change Specialist and Coordinator, Sustainable Cities Global Environment Facility. Thank you. We present to Mr. Sanjay Joshi, Principal Urban Development Specialist, Asian Development Bank. Thank you very much indeed, sir. We present to Mr. Madhav Pai, Chief Executive Officer, WRI India. And to Ms. Andrea Fernandez, Managing Director, Climate Finance, Knowledge and Partnerships, C40 Cities. And we present to Mr. Hitesh Vaidya. Thank you, Mr. Kumar, for doing the honors. I would now like to request Mr. Hitesh Vaidya, Director, National Institute of Urban Affairs, to kindly close the proceedings of the inaugural session with his words of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Dais, all the participants, good afternoon to all of you. And I don't know, vote of thanks is, after so much of knowledge has gone and delivered, I don't know how much I can contribute, but what I heard from all the speakers, and I'll take the topic, which is urban shift. And what we are talking about, we are saying, let's shift our thinking. And if we want sustainability, then we need to shift our tools. We need to shift our approaches. And if that is the only way where we can walk the path of sustainability. And I think that is what this, as Mr. Imani Kumar had said in the morning, is a convergence of minds have to think what shift we really want actually to happen. If we want to achieve the goals of Sustainable Development Goals of 2030, we are already 7 years left. And when I was UN Habitat in 2016, and when these goals were announced, we were beating our chest and saying, this is a 15 years. And we still have to take, as our minister said, we still have to walk quite a long to really achieve these goals. So I think if we really are serious about the goals, Paris Agreement, then we need to start shifting our business as usual approach to a new approach. And this new approach will not come from the shuttle or from the God will shower some of those new approaches. I think these new approaches have to be thought, and they will be coming through the discussions, through the deliberations, through the dialogue like this, that we can really achieve that path of sustainability. A lot of people are talking about knowledge is important. I think definitely knowledge is important, but I think the most important is the application of this knowledge in different contexts. And unless we start applying this knowledge in different contexts, I think the knowledge itself will not reach to the path of sustainability. We are talking about through this conferences, a city of hope, or a new city or a new thinking. But I think for that, 5 things has to happen. I think we need to have our planning structures right. We need to have our regulations and our legal structures right. We need to have our finances structure right. And fourthly, we need to have human resources, the skill development which requires to achieve for this move that journey to a promised land. That promised land will come only if we have a right skills and right thing. And last, we need to have our monitoring frameworks, our feedback systems, that also to right. And this is what I think this, what my takeaway from this morning 2 sessions are there. But again, as my role is to just thank everybody and not speak and give a gyan again, I thank all the organizers. Thank you to the Honorable Minister who really took time from his busy schedule and came over to here. But last thing, I'll take it from WRI, my friends said about the choices, what we are here to give better choices to the cities. And that is what we need to really make. All of us have to give that better choices, and this frameworks, this learning from each other is actually giving the better choices so they can see what is good for them, what is bad for them, whether they should apply for this. And I think this 4 days of this deliberations will bring all other cities, all practitioners to be equipped with better choices. So with that, thank you, everyone. Thank you, all of you, for coming and listening. I know this is 2 sessions have been one side street, and I think now it will be a double a way of interaction and more, rather than just one way of giving gyan and not taking gyan. So I think the time is to take gyan from that side and have much more interacted. But thank you, and I'll not stand between the lunch and or session and the next session and the thing. I was actually pre-planning the lunch anyway. So because I thought people must be tired after 2 sessions. So thank you very much, and looking forward to a great deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, with that note, we close the proceedings of this high-level inaugural session. Once again, taking this opportunity to thank all our eminent speakers, and would request everyone to kindly remain seated as we straight away move to the next session. Kindly give us a few minutes while we arrange the top table for the next session. Thank you. Requesting everybody to kindly remain seated. We'll just take a moment to arrange the top table for the next session. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also ready to go ahead with the proceedings of the next session, requesting everybody to kindly be seated. Once again, requesting for all mobile phones to be kept on to silent mode. So the next session, the technical session 2, is on showcasing GEF supported sustainable cities projects. And I am now pleased to invite the moderator of the session, Ms. Mia Kallenberg, Environmental Analyst, Global Environment Facility. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and help me in welcoming on stage our distinguished moderator, Ms. Mia Kallenberg.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you still have some energy left before we break for lunch, because we have a really interesting session here, and we'll hear some more practical examples from the cities involved in the program. So this is the second technical session. We will be showcasing some of the country projects. As the MC said, my name is Mia Kallenberg, and I work for the GEF Secretariat based in Washington, D.C. Let's see if we have some slides eventually, but to quickly go over the agenda for this session, I will start with a short overview of the GEF's work on sustainable cities. And then we will have a short presentation. We have 4 excellent speakers lined up. We will have a presentation on the GEF 6 India project, and then 3 short presentations on the GEF 7 UrbanShift projects here in India and Indonesia. So let me invite the speakers up to the stage. Our first speaker is Mr. Nanpal Singh. He is a senior technical advisor at the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO. Please welcome up to the stage. Our second speaker is from the World Bank, Mr. Efrian Muharrem, an environmental specialist based in Indonesia. Please welcome up to the stage. We also have the pleasure to invite Ms. Sarika Chakravarti, who is the team leader for the UrbanShift India project at the National Institute of Urban Affairs here in India. Welcome. And last but not least, Mr. Surab Majumdar, who is the senior project officer at the India Resident Mission of the Asian Development Bank, ADB. Welcome. So I will quickly start with a brief overview of the GEF's work on sustainable cities. I guess most of you are familiar with the GEF. We are a financial mechanism under several environmental conventions. So we work with climate change, biodiversity, land degradation, chemicals, and international waters. It's a global partnership. So we support 183 countries around the world, and we mostly provide grants as opposed to loans. So far, we have given out about 22 billion in grants to more than 5,000 projects globally. So given our mandate to support these conventions, why did the GEF decide to invest in cities? Well, basically, as we have heard this morning, cities can cause a lot of environmental degradation, but at the same time, they are also the systems and places where integrated action is critical if we want to achieve the global goals that all the national governments have set. Cities are naturally integrated, and there's a lot of possibilities for large-scale investments. And we, of course, recognize the great leadership from cities and national governments, as well as various urban networks and platforms. So it was within this context that we started the GEF 6 Sustainable Cities pilot back in 2014, 2015. That cohort included 4 Asian countries. We had India, China, Malaysia, and Vietnam. And this turned out to be incredibly successful. The concept of a sustainable cities program really worked, and therefore it was decided to scale up the program in the next phase. And this is where we are now. in the GEF7 phase under UrbanShift, we're very proud to yet again have a very strong cohort from the Asia region through China, India, and Indonesia. And together they are supporting 14 cities on urban sustainability. To zoom in then on the objective for UrbanShift, it is quite clear. It's about transforming cities for people and planet, because it will not be enough to only invest in separate and siloed solutions. We need to fundamentally change how these urban systems work. UrbanShift is taking on this challenge from very many different angles. It's really centered around integrated urban planning, bridging the gap between different sectors, different actors, and taking advantage of each other's strengths. And in doing so, we also aim to align the work and the visions between the national and the local governments, so that they can help each other as most possible. Then the program supports many different solutions. We will hear more about these in the presentations from the country teams. So here you can see the portfolio in GEF6 and GEF7. It's very diverse, with projects across South America, Africa, and Asia. And the 5 Asian countries that are participating are really a very important contribution to this portfolio, not only because it's in Asia that we see some of the largest and fastest growing cities in the world, but also because the knowledge and the good practices that come from this region really can help other countries around the world to reach their efforts in sustainable urbanization. And we will hear wonderful examples of e-mobility, smart city solutions, biodiversity restorations, just to mention a few. And this sharing of knowledge is really the essence of the program. From the start, we wanted to make sure that this was more than just a set of individual projects. And this programmatic approach, we have on one hand the country projects that generate knowledge and learning through their leadership. But on the other hand, we have the global platform that connects all these countries, it connects the partnerships, and builds capacity in collaboration with some of the most skilled global partners. And I dare say that we have built a brilliant partnership. We have the agencies that we work with, from UNEP, UNDP, UNIDO, and others, to some of the leading financial institutions, as well as the city networks. So big thank you to ICLEI, WRI, and C40 for the invaluable connections you have with cities around the world. And the program also works with other strategic partners, as you can see here on the slide, on specific topics. So thanks to this partnership, UrbanShift can offer a lot more than just isolated investments. The global and regional activities reach from city academies and regional forums, such as this one, to more specific labs, webinars, even training modules, as you will hear soon. And the program is also active at various global advocacy events. You can expect to see UrbanShift at the COPs, at the World Urban Forum, other events, really raising the voice of cities internationally. So with that, and on behalf of the GEF, I really want to thank you all for the hard work you do. We're so pleased to have you all on board, and we are really excited to see what we can achieve together. So now it's actually time to hand over and dive a bit deeper into some of the country projects. Here in Asia, we have our 5 speakers ready to share their experiences. First, I am very happy to introduce Mr. Nanpal Singh, Senior Technical Advisor at UNIDO. Mr. Singh, thanks for being here with us today. And we are very curious to hear if you can share a bit more knowledge around the GEF6 projects here in India and the learnings that you have gained so far. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you, Kolanbach. Distinguished panelists and participants, good afternoon. I take this next 5 minutes to take you to the JF6 UNIDO projects. So this project actually was the first JF6 one child India project. UNIDO actually prepared it, and its total is in 5 different Indian cities based on the geographical situation of these cities: Bhopal, Guntur, Jaipur, Mysore, and Vijayawada. It's aligned with the Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. And the cities are Bhopal, as you mentioned, Bhopal, Jaipur, Guntur, Vijayawada, and Mysore. And it was actually developed because it was the new thing for the municipal corporations. So we had a detailed discussions with the state principal secretaries of these 4 states, as well as the municipal commissioners for co-financing. So because JEF only supports the innovation part of all project, not the any 50 or 60%. There are 4 components. Component 1 is sustainable cities planning and management, and second is the investment and demonstration, low carbon demonstration projects. Third is partnership and knowledge management. So first component actually was partnered when Mr. Hitesh Vaidya was the country manager of UN Habitat, and it was just a partnership with UNIDO and UN Habitat. For this, they have actually developed the urban sustainability assessment framework for all the 5 cities with the detailed discussions with the city diagnostics and profiles. So all 5 cities, USF has already been prepared and discussed with the city officials. Then the component 2 is investment and technology demonstration in all these 5 cities. So these projects actually, because as initially I mentioned that it's basically for Swachh Bharat Mission. So it is around the collection, the transportation, and the waste management, including solid and liquid waste, and to recover resource and energy. So in the this project, you can see in the city of Bhopal, there are 400 metric ton waste to bio-CNG, and these 250 bio-CNG vehicle has been supported under UNIDO, and out of that 125 already procured and under this operation with different, you can see in the picture how they are collecting from ward to ward, house to house, and this 400 ton project is producing bio-CNG is likely to be completed in next 6 to 8 months. It is taking time. It's a big project. And the Guntur, you have heard today morning, the additional commissioner of Guntur Municipal Corporation. Here actually is a very innovative project that there is a lake, and the lake under the project we supported 500 kilowatt solar photovoltaic on the lake. So no need of having the land, separate land. And with UNIDO support, the even for collection of this, you can see on the top of this picture slides that these all 220 vehicles supported are charged by this solar photovoltaic power generated at the lake, and it is fed to the grid, and it will be taken out from the charging stations. Here, the good point I would like to mention that all the drivers and the helper of these vehicles are women. So it is basically a very good project for women empowerment, and they feel proud with that. I myself have been to this place personally and interacted with this. Then the Jaipur is also a big project of 210 3 STPs treating the sewage treatment of future planning of 215 million liter of wastewater daily with 3 digesters and generating 23,000 cubic of biogas every day, and it will be converted into bio-CNG, and about 500 kilowatt of this power will be generated from biogas and rest will go to bio-CNG. In addition, they have 2 megawatt solar photovoltaics. So it is almost a green STP. Mysuru is a city, though they generate about 500 tons of waste and their segregation rate is also very good. So here we have supported 3 compost plants of 200 each at 2 sites and 150 at another. The first plant picture is on the top and it's progressing very well and it will help to reduce this greenhouse gas emission which is emitted from the open dumps. Vijayawada, actually they have the STP, 5 STPs, and from the STPs, they will generate the biogas and it is generated power and it will be used for operation of this STP. Well, component 3 is actually assigned to National Institute of Urban Affairs, and they have already gone to these 5 cities and assessed the training need assessment, and then the training modules for various beneficiaries from Safai Karamchari to mayor, to the councillors, the engineers. It has been made, and they have come up with this all these modules in the form of booklet, which is liked very much by all the cities. They are using it. Okay, now come to the last. This is the challenges and learning from this project. As I mentioned in the initial my presentation, that it was new for the municipal corporations, so it has to be actually discussed in detail, and the co-financing was arranged. And so the main challenges in this is that frequent changes of the administrative officers, leaderships, because it is in 4 states, and all these 4 states during this project has also gone for elections. So new government came in these states, and during this period, almost each city is having 3 commissioners during this period. So the main thing we did that we appointed the nodal officer of each city, so that commissioner is very busy and we can get the things done through the nodal officers, which is either additional commissioners like Sastati madam here or the chief engineer, and it has worked very well. Then the delays in procurement of the